How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're about versus Cody from the Discord server in the OU tier. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. And friendly reminder to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on our way to 20k by the end of the year, and I'd love for you to be a part of that journey. So anyway, looking at their team, they got a Volcarona, which stands out. The Lycanroc's interesting to see. Meowscarada is a threat. Great Tusk is always a problem. Quagsire and Hisui and Goodra are just kind of there, but I don't want to underestimate them because Cody is a very good battler. I know that from experience, so I don't want to mess around. So I think they're going to lead with Meowscarada. So I'm half tempted to lead with Corviknight. I don't think they'll lead Volcarona, so I think Corviknight is a fine lead. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Maybe scare them out with the defog. They might not set up hazards if I'm going to defog type thing. So let's see how this plays out. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Cody. So they're going to lead off with Goodra as we lead off with Corviknight. So it's not the worst matchup in the world. We don't know what set this Goodra is. I normally see like Iron Defense, Body Press, stuff like that. So I'm half tempted to just scout and go for a Body Press of my own to get some damage off. But Corviknight's really useful for the Lycanroc and the Meowscarada, so I don't want to lose it just yet. So I'm going to go for a U-turn instead. Because I know Goodra doesn't normally run speed investments. So we'll get out of there, we'll go for a U-turn, and we'll go into something a bit more suited to handle Goodra. Now, I'm leaning towards Rhyperior, but if they go for a Fire Blast, it might burn us. I don't really want that. So I'm also leaning towards Deoxys Defense, because we can set up Stealth Rocks then and go for a Teleport. So I think I will do the Deoxys Defense method. I think that's probably an appropriate response. So there we go, Deoxys Defense comes in. We're going to exert some pressure, not that it matters really, as they go for an Ice Beam off the bat. So they don't have Fire Blast, or they're expecting the Rhyperior to come in, which is fair enough. Expecting me to expect the Fire Blast. There's a lot of expecting in this video, isn't there? Anyway, I'm going to get the Rocks up because I don't think Goodra can really touch me. So we get the Stealth Rocks up. They do stay in, which is interesting. Are they going to set up Iron Defenses or something? I'm wondering what they're going to do. Are they going to drop a Draco? You go for a Flash Cannon. I think they're just scouting to see how much damage they can do. And looking at that, we're eating up hits for days. And we have Recover as well. And we outspeed. So it's like, I'm not too worried about this Goodra, really. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to Recover here, just to get my health back. And then we'll go for a Teleport on the Goodra. And Teleport, if you're wondering why I have Teleport, it is a pivot move. Now, it wasn't in previous games, but in Gen 8, they buffed it. So that now, was it Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? I think they buffed it. So it actually switches you out, but it always goes last, which means you always get a free hit, a free Pokemon switch in pretty much. So I'm going to go for that Teleport now. So they go for another Ice Beam now, maybe expecting a hard switch. Not quite. As we go for a Teleport, get on out of there, like so, and then reappear just to go back in my Pokeball. It'd be cool if they transitioned that a bit better, but it is what it is. So we can now go into Rhyperior, no problem. We can go for an Earthquake. This should be a alright, I think that is our only play, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go into my Rhyperior now. And even though they have the type advantage in the steel typing, we have it in the ground typing. So I am leaning towards Terastallization. I feel like Rhyperior does pretty well against their team if we can get a Rock Polish up. But I'm pretty sure even after a Rock Polish, Meowscarada still outspeeds us. And our Tera is water. So I'm like, don't really want to do it. They're probably just going to go into their Great Tusk right now as well. Let's go for an Earthquake just to get damage off, pretty much. So they withdraw the Goodra. They probably go into Great Tusk, but I could be wrong. Quagsire is also a good option. So Quagsire comes in. Let's see how much. Oh, it's nice and shiny. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So the Point Stones do dig in, which is going to help the Earthquake damage a little bit, but I don't think it does too much. It's a 2-shot on the Quagsire. That's awesome. Probably because of the Life Orb. But they have got leftovers. So that's looking like, I think it's still a 2-shot, and I'm pretty sure we outspeed here. They don't have a single ground immunity, and they've got 1 ground resist in Meowscarada, who's pretty frail. So I am going to go for an EQ here, and I'm hoping Rhyperior gets a KO here, because that'd be great. But they don't. They withdraw the Quagsire. Are they going to go into the Meowscarada here? There we go. We go for an Earthquake. Still does a lot of damage to Meowscarada, which is crazy good. And we can probably definitely expect a Flower Trick here. They may predict the switch and go for a U-turn, but I have to go into Corviknight right now. Otherwise, I lose my Rhyperior, no doubt. So let's see what this Meowscarada is going to do. Hopefully, they go straight for the KO with a Flower Trick, because then we get a free U-turn off, but I don't know whether they do. They go for Triple Axle. which is going to turn them into an Ice type, which is going to sting a little bit after if it hits all 3 times. But Rocky Helmet is a thing, and that is easily going to be able to finish off the Meowscarada. So we made the right play going into Corviknight right there. Even if we took some damage, Rocky Helmet takes out the Meowscarada, and now they don't have a single switch into Rhyperior, which is amazing. Absolutely fantastic. So that's played out nicely for us. In comes Goodra. So Goodra, we know. We don't know. But they went for an Ice Beam on us, expecting us... anyway, they went for an Ice Beam, so I'm assuming that's their best move to hit us with. So I'm going to go for a Roost here, just to see if they have got a Fire-type move, and also to see how much the Ice Beam's doing. So Roost comes through, there we go. Get some health back. And then that way, if they have Fire Blast, we should be able to live. They do have Flamethrower, which is a better case scenario, because it's not going to do as much as Fire Blast. But that did over half, so we cannot stay in anymore. We are going to have to U-turn on this Goodra, so what I'm going to do is just that. I'm going to U-turn on this Goodra, and we can still use Corviknight for the Lycan Rock, for the Great Tusk, so I definitely want to keep it around. So we'll get a U-turn off, there we go. Nice and crit U-turn, that's what we like to see. That is what we like to see, so... if we assume they're going to predict the Rhyperior switch right now, I should go into my Deoxys defense again. So that's what I'm going to do. If they go for a Draco Meteor expecting the switch, then so be it. That's a good play on their behalf. I don't think they will. I think they'll go for an Ice Beam though. Flash Cannon. They went for a Flash Cannon, equally as good, which would have obviously hurt the Rhyperior quite a bit. But what we can do now is we can go for a Recover. And the reason I'm going for a Recover is just because I want to get my health back, really. But also because I feel like they stay in. As they do stay in. Interesting play. What are they going to do now? Flash Cannon. So they're just going to keep Flash Cannoning on us. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get my Rhyperior back in. That's for sure. That is for sure. So Rhyperior coming back in will be amazing right now. Because Quagsire is on Death's Door. I think that is the right place. So I'm going to go for a Teleport. I'm going to go for a Teleport. They do go for another Flash Cannon, obviously. That's going to take us out, unfortunately. As Deoxys defense does go down, finally. But I guess, in theory, we're still alright. Because we get a free switch in with our Rhyperior right now. Or we could go into something else. I'm leaning towards Rhyperior, though. Rhyperior is definitely the best play. Because their best switch in is going to be the Great Tusk. But I think they're going to... I think the best thing for me to do is go straight for an Earthquake. Because it still does damage to Great Tusk. And we've got Corviknight to switch into anyway. So we'll go for an Earthquake, because it'll definitely take out this Goodra, no problem. So they withdraw the Goodra. They're either going to sack Quagsire, or they're going to go Great Tusk, one of the two. Yeah, Great Tusk comes in. There we go. So I guess in theory I could have gone for an Ice Punch, but I feel like Ice Punch wouldn't have done as much damage. Plus they could be Rocky Helmet, and I don't want to take that unnecessary chip damage. As that Earthquake does over half. That's brilliant damage. Brilliant damage. So I'm going to go straight into Corviknight. If Corviknight's doing anything in this game, it's whittling this thing down with a Rocky Helmet chip. I don't think they would go for a Rapid Spin knowing that our Earthquake could KO. But they might. They might do. They might do. They go for an EQ. That's fair enough. They don't want to mess around with no threats like Rhyperior, which is fair enough. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to expect them to either Rapid Spin or get up a Stealth Rocks of their own, or just attack me with a close combat. So I'm going to go for a Roost. So they go for a Temper Flare. Ooh, that's good. So Temper Flare, if you didn't know, it doubles in power if the move you used prior fails. So because I switched Corviknight in on an Earthquake, the Earthquake failed, and then Temper Flare got boosted in power. That is really cool. I love that play. So Tentacruel, it's your time to shine, I'm afraid. As I'm looking at their squad and I'm thinking, you know what? They have the Quagsire. Is that thing Water Absorb or Unaware? I'd say looking at the composition of the team, it would more than likely be Water Absorb, because they have a Rock type, a Fire type, and a Ground type. So I'm leaning towards over-predicting and go for a Surf. Or, alternatively, if we want to assume... they're either going to stay in an Earthquake expecting us to over-predict, or they're going to go into Quagsire, so I may as well just go into Rhyperior. That's what I may as well do. So I switch out, and I'm going to go into Salazar, my Rhyperior. There we go. They do withdraw. Are they going into Quagsire? If they go into Quagsire, that means they are Water Absorb. Goodra. Okay, Goodra works as well. That's a good switch in. That way they don't have to give away whether they're Water Absorb or not. This thing could have Sap Zipper. So we can't spam Leaf Storms against it, that's for sure. But I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is how I'm going to switch my Rhyperior in here. So I think the best thing to go for is probably Tentacruel. And then flip turn, but no, we'll be faster, so the flip turn will... Do I go for a Dragon Pulse just to see? Or do I go for a substitute? I suppose I could go for a substitute just to see what they're going to do. Just to check to see what they're going to do. So we'll go for a substitute real quick, just to see if they've got Draco Meteor. And if they do have Draco Meteor, no, they have Ice Beam. So they may not have Dragon Stab, which is interesting. So they've got Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, and one other move. I'd assume they have Dragon Stab. Oh, wait, no, sorry, Rhyperior is not a Dragon type. I'm an idiot. I've been playing Blaze Black 2, a ROM hack of Pokemon Black and White 2. And they made Rhyperior a Grass Dragon type in that, so I've got it on my brain. I just assumed. I was like, wait, yeah. So, no, they wouldn't go for a Dragon Stab there. They go for an Ice Beam. So, what I'm thinking of doing is Typhlosion ain't doing much for us. So, I'm thinking of switching in Typhlosion, going for a Scorching Sands. So, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Scorching Sands actually hurts their entire team as well, so it's not too bad of a play. So we'll bring it in. They go for an Ice Beam. They wouldn't go for a Flamethrower because they know that my Typhlosion could switch in and get a Flash Fire boost. That's not the case in this instance. So I think my best play is to either go for Scorching Sands or Focus Blast. Focus Blast hits everything on their team as well for good damage, except from the Volcarona. So I'm going to go for a Scorching Sands. Just because A, we could burn them as well. And B, damage is damage at the end of the day. I don't need Typhlosion to win this game. Plus, we got to burn. We got to burn. You can't go wrong with a bit of a burnage. So now they go for a Thunderbolt. So they've got Bolt Beam coverage with Flamethrower and Flash Cannon, no Dragon Stab. That's interesting. So, we should be able to take one more Thunderbolt, which means we can get another 2 attacks in on the Goodra with the Scorching Sand. We're negating its leftovers as well. So, with the burn. So we'll go for a Scorching Sands again. There's no real reason not to, because nothing really wants to switch in. So they are going to withdraw, though. What are they going to go into? Quiver Dancing Volcarona? Yeah, Volcarona comes in. So this thing is a threat right here. This thing is a big threat. Scorching Sands is going to do a decent bit of chip, but not much at all. As now, our best bet is going to be Tentacruel, I think. Yeah, I think best bet's Tentacruel. We need to know what kind of Volcarona this is. We need to know. Because if it's Terra Water, we can handle it with Terra Water Rhyperior. They go for a Quiver Dance. Okay, so Volcarona could sweep here. Volcarona very well could sweep here. We need to be very careful. I know my Tentacruel can live a hit. I'm going to go for a Surf just to get some damage off on it. If they're Morning Sunset, they are going to Terastal. So I'm hoping it's Terra Water. Or Terra Fairy. Terra Ground. Okay. That's actually worked out decently for us. Not really, because Terra Blast is going to sting. There's the Terra Blast. It's going to sting, but I feel like Tentacruel can live if this is a bulky variant. We do live, so it must be a bulky variant. We go for a Surf, get some more damage off on them. That's great. That is just fantastic. So, now that we got some damage off on them, they're either going to Morning Sun here, or they're not. So, I could go for a Terra Flying right now and get another Surf off. And then we can bring Typhlosion in and outspeed it, because we're Choice Scarfed, and they're probably not max speed. I think that's our best bet, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for that Surf. I'm going to go for that Terra Flying Surf. Wasn't expecting the Terra Ground. That's threw me right off. But I'm so glad Tentacruel lived to hit. So let's try this. Hopefully they don't switch up moves and go for a Fiery Dance to finish us off to try and get a special attack boost. But now that I think about it, that's probably what they're going to do. They go for a Morning Sun. So that's actually worked out nicely for us. Not really. We get to live another day, but, you know, not really. As that's going to do diddly squat to them. So unless we get a crit or something, but we definitely don't. We don't live at this next hit. They go for a Fiery Dance, that's for sure. I suppose on the flip side, we could expect the Fiery Dance and go into Typhlosion. I am going to do that because we can get that Flash Fire boost, which may give just enough of a power boost to Eruption to give us a... yeah, there's a Fiery Dance. Flash Fire. So now we may get enough of a power because we're low on HP, so this Eruption is not 150 base power right now. But it's still our best move to go for. Focus Blast could easily miss. Eruption is Stab, boosted by Flash Fire. And it's probably, if I'm at half health, you'd assume it's about half power. So it's probably about 65 power or something like that. So it's probably not going to do enough damage, but like I said, Flash Fire, Stab, all that stuff. Let's go for it. Nah, nowhere near enough damage. Nowhere near enough damage as they go for a Morning Sun, so... That's fair enough, Morning Sun. Get your health back. I'm really going to try it again, though. Because we outspeed. They could go for another Quiver Dance. If they go for another Quiver Dance, then so be it. They don't, they go for a Tera Blast, so that's alright then. So, okay. How do we go about this then? Definitely shouldn't have terrored with... Definitely shouldn't have terrored with Rhyperior. Rhyperior does have Solid Rock, which means it could live a Tera Blast. However, I think that's our only hope. I think that is our only hope, living with this. I think that is our only hope, living with this. So obviously I'm going to go for an EQ. I suppose Ice Punch would be useful as well, actually. Is Super Effective Ice Punch more damage than Stab non-Super Effective Earthquake? I can't remember. I guess I go for the Ice Punch and find out. Let's see if we can live a Tera Blast. I don't think we can. But usually bulky Volcarona isn't invested in special attacks, so we may. We don't. I was hoping the Solid Rock could be enough to negate the damage, but it's not. And unfortunately, it looks like Volcarona is going to sweep us. But if I'm going to be swept by anything, it's going to be Volcarona. So, in comes Krulio. In comes Krulio, who I unfortunately terrored. I could have Terra Watered that Rhyperior. You know, but I really thought I was being smart by going for this. So I'm going to go for a Surf. They go for a Fiery Dance, get that special attack boost. There we go. Watch them get it. Watch them get it as well. Oh, they didn't get it. That's alright then. So, we've got one last hope, and that's that Rhyperior, with its natural bulk, is able to take this attack and go for a Leaf Storm. I don't think it can, and I don't think Leaf Storm will KO anyway, so I'm going to go for it regardless. They go for a Fiery Dance. So I think Fiery Dance is only base 80, but no, it's still enough to KO us. As down goes Rhyperior, and there goes the game. So we unfortunately got swept by a Volcarona late game. But Cody, like I said, Cody's a brilliant battler, so if I'm going to get swept by anyone, I'm glad it's Cody and his Volcarona. So, fun game, really fun game. I enjoyed that one. But yeah, as usual, here is the team. Try it out if you want to. Use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.